Alright, this is what I got going on. I got a connector from the actual side with the tack, and I just unsoldered it from the board itself. I got some heat shrink right here, a lot of it. I got my solder, I got the soldering tin, the stuff to clean it, the acid, I guess you could call it, the soldering iron, and of course the other side, the pigtail. This is actually from a full-size truck, so this is wired according to this diagram. If you need to take a second to pause this, or let's see if I can get both of them in here. I don't like to flip the camera like this, but I guess I should have started recording like this. I hope you can see this with the light. Doing the best I can. Anyways, trying to swap gauges, trying to go with a full-size truck gauge. Problem I'm running into online is that I can't find any information on how to take it from a 98 to a 2001. So according to what I read online, it's just a tack signal, which my tack signal is off as it is already because I'm running an 0411 PCM in a 98 truck. So this actually might work out just right, you know. Let's see how much further I can go with this. What I have here is a connector from a 2000 cluster or a 98 cluster. They're all the same. 98 on up to 2002, I know they're the same. And what I did was I took the cluster and I unsoldered this piece, and to do that I used a torch, and that's why it's all burned up on here in the back and melted, but it worked. Quick and easy, still kept the solder, I don't have to worry about retinning the connectors, the little soldered part on here. So I'm just going ahead and tinning my wires as I go along. I tin the wire. This one's not tinted. None of these are tinted. Just the ones I'm doing one by one are tinted. So basically what I do is I tin the wire, and all I gotta do after that is heat up the terminal right here, and it will solder and fuse the other wire along with it. And as far as this shrink wrap, I have a big roll of it. So yeah, I like a cleaner install instead of just having bare wires everywhere with electrical tape all around it. I think this is the right way to go. But the way I'm doing this is a 2001 to 2002 full-size Chevy truck connector, and it's already wired according to this diagram. So all I have to do is take this diagram and match it to this one. But what's happening is that when I take this full-size one and put it on this one, I'm going from 2002, which says the tan and white, which would be this wire right here, is coming from A1 on this, and it has to go to A2 on this connector. So that's how it is. This diagram says tan and white oil pressure signal, which it tells you what it is, at A1, and it has to be swapped over to A2 tan and white. So basically the truck's plugging in to this, and the signal is just getting routed through different wires going to this full-size truck connector. So when I'm done with it, all I gotta do is plug this pigtail in place onto the 2002 cluster, and I should be able to be fine. I think the only thing that's different is the tachometer, which I'm running 0411 PCM anyways, with a 2002 to 2001 body control module also. So I think I got all my grounds covered. Last time I tried to use a newer style gauge cluster, it didn't work, but this is probably why. I'm not 100% on that, but it's pretty simple. This diagram's made for a 2002 Blazer or S10, and this is just a full-size Chevy truck 99 to 2002 pinout on a the cluster plug-in. Not sure. I think online I read that B12 is a brown wire. I'm gonna have to look on my connector. Not 100% on that either, so I'll see what happens. Well, finally got them all soldered in. As you can see here, the B connectors and top A connectors. Going off of these references. These numbers seem to be all over the place. You gotta watch out for them and really read them. There's two grounds, and I don't know if it makes a difference, but black A6 on the Silverado goes to, let's see if I can find it. I went by the numbers in the center. I think I went to 1850, or is it the other black one I went by? Let's see, 1850 or 451 is the one I went by on this. So I found 451 is A9 coming from the Silverado A8, which was one pin over. So that wasn't too far out, except A6 ended up being B3. So watch out for stuff like that, and it's all over the place. So hope that helps. Now it's time to move all these little heat shrinks down and come up with a nice clean finish. Then we get to go test it. I don't know what's the deal with these two wires. One's supposed to be for a low windshield washer fluid, and the other one is, let's see, low windshield washer fluid in purple and white is LED dimming signal. Where is it? Yeah, here we go. LED dimming signal. So I don't know what's the deal with B5. What do I do with it? But I have to figure out something. I could do a little bit more research and figure it out. Be back in a second. After doing some digging, I found out some information. B12 brown is a supplemental restraint system. That is not used in the 0411 or the Silverado pins, so ignore that. But let's concentrate on A5, which is purple white circuit 1035. It says starting and charging system. Now, if we go to the starting and charging system, see, I got it written down right here. 1035 starting charging system, which is purple and white. A5 goes to the 2002 brown circuit 41 ignition 3. 41 is your cruise control stuff. It comes from the third fuse inside the door, and that just goes directly to this pin, A5. Now, what I'm about to do is really see if I'm correct on what I'm reading here. It says here A5 on the 98 goes from the instrument cluster into the firewall, underneath into the fuse box underneath the hood. We have A5 purple and white going directly to the relay's coil and then grounding out. So if that is correct, I should be able to take this pin from A5 and put it into 10. I know it's hard for me to do this with one hand. Let's see if I can get it. And as you can see, that actually does start the truck. So funny to see that in a wiring diagram of why they got it like the way they do. But yep, jumping off from the orange pin, which shows constant power, A10 to A5 actually starts the truck. And now I got my music playing. Well, what I'm gonna do to put in this newer gauge is go from the fuse box, which is number 3. I'm trying to pull it out, but you can see here. See that number 3 fuse right here? I'm gonna go from that and go directly to the instrument cluster on number 5. Another thing is, what do I do about LED dimming on the 2002 Silverado? Well, apparently 1382 is the circuit, and because I swapped out BCMs, I do have that option. And as you can see here, these are some purple and white wires that are shared with it, and it's the same circuit, I believe. If not the same circuit number, it's the same type of circuit. It says purple and white, let me find it, dimming control, purple and white, 1382, just like the truck. This is going to pin 812 on the body control module. On the second one, it says C3, but it's the second one. I don't know, I guess that's a mess up on their GM's part, but yeah, purple white all the way to these little extra things. So I got an option of using a transfer case shifter control switch, inflatable restraint module, what does that say? So some type of switch, disable switch. Yeah, this guy right here. And a third option is, apparently they had them on going to the radio on the 2-wheel drive pickups. I don't remember seeing that on the radio's harness, but if it's on yours and you got a 2002, use it, I guess. For me, I'm gonna see if this inflatable restraint module has it. If not, I'll have to go directly to purple white dimming control on my body control module and just put a wire into that terminal, and I should have dimming control for my 2002 Silverado gauges. So I know it all sounds complicated, but if you're following me, I hope this answers some questions. See, this one's got the little purple and white wire, but this being a 98 harness, I don't know if it works the same. I could see. I'm about to find out. Well, I finally figured everything out. A5 connector goes to fuse 3, which is SP, splice connector 200. And the 1998s was a 1035 start charge signal. This is what I got. I'm running a wire going from the instrument panel to fuse number 3. It's hard to see, but this is a piggyback to where number 3 still has a 10 amp fuse, but the cluster has its own 3 amp fuse. So I have this wire running through, up over, and onto the dash, and into the cluster. I got it hidden up in here somewhere. It's really hard to see, but it's there. Number 3 fuse is running direct power into the cluster through that. I had to cut off 2 corners and all the mounting tabs on the 2002 gauge cluster. Now, they say it's supposed to fit snugly. I don't know how snugly or how it's supposed to exactly fit, but it could fit better probably. There's no way to mount it. You just gotta cut off all these tabs and put it in here. And another thing I've done was I ran B5 purple and white 1382 dimming signal. I'm running another wire that didn't have a place on the s10 connector, and I'm running that to this purple wire on back of the airbag passenger switch. I'm gonna wire it in better, but just for testing purposes, I have a tinted piece of wire going into the connector. And this goes to B5 on the Silverado connector going into the panel. And I had to do all that just because it's a 98. If you have a 2000 or 2002, you don't need to do the additional wires. They're already there. And just to show you that it does work, like it should. I got oil pressure, I got voltage, I got fuel, I got temperature, and I got a bunch of other things now on that little display message center. I've got to add 2 pins to the computer to turn them off. But other than that, low coolant, check engine oil level, those can be taken out with 2 pins in the computer. Low coolant, I'm not sure if it said low washer fluid. That's the one wire I left out, was the washer fluid. Seems good.